to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you guys for subscribing to my channel. I thank you for your love, for your support. I appreciate each and every one of you that have supported me. I actually don't take it for granted. If you are new to the channel, you're welcome. If you have not subscribed, please, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate if you would do that, and then hit on the bell also to get an update whenever I upload a new video. Okay, so in today's video, this is a simple beginners friendly tutorial. I'm going to be learning how to cut and sew a cut together pencil sleeve top. So you can see the picture shown to you earlier on. This is a simple tutorial. As a beginner, you will not could you will be able to pull this off because it is very simple, like I always say in my videos. So that's what we are going to be learning how to do today. So if you can follow me on all of my social media platforms: Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Threads, all at Stylish Naija. And then if you want to register for my online classes, which I normally run every month, you can just see my number scrolling through the screen. Send me a message on WhatsApp or on the description box. See my number, send me a message, guys. So let's get started. So for this tutorial, I'm actually going to be making use of 1.5 yard of fabric because I need the length. I need my sleeve because it is a long sleeve, so that's why. So let's get started straight into our tutorial for today. Okay, so this is the fabric that I'm going to be making use of. So the next thing now, I'm going to spread it out on the table and show you the measurements that we're going to use. So since it is a cut together sleeve, it is a simple process. So this is the entire width that I'm going to be making use of. This is a satin fabric. So this is going to be like the wideness of my sleeve. Okay, so I'm going to fold it now back into 4, and then I'll tell you the length. We'll measure it to get the length of our sleeve. So from this is the center back. So our sleeve length is going to be from here. So we'll have about 29. That's from the center back to this point is about 29. So at the end of the day, after stitching, it's going to come to like 27 and a half. Okay, so I'm going to cut both the back and the front together right now. So I'll place this like this here on my table. And then the next thing we're going to cut out now, we're going to open the shoulder part. So I just want to double check that my camera is capturing everything I'm doing. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to come down from this point by about 1 inch. So that 1 inch, I'm going to just float that 1 inch into the shoulder part like this. Okay, so which we're going to cut off. The next thing we're going to do now, we're going to measure out our neckline. So if you notice, it is like a canoe neckline, because if you are doing this kind of dress, if you are using a stretchy fabric, you don't need to add a zip to it. But mine, I'm using a satin which is not stretchy, but I'm not going to add a zip to it, but I'm going to open up the back piece a little bit. Okay, so the next thing we're going to mark out our neckline. So for the neckline that we're going to mark out, I'm going to use about 5.5 inches for my neckline, or 6 inches. Okay, 5.5 is okay, so that it's not too deep. But if you are using a stretchy fabric, use about 5 inches because it is stretchy. Okay, so from that point now, I'm going to mark the depth of my neckline. So since my neckline is wide, I don't need it to be too deep. Okay, so I'm going to use about 3 inches because I'm still going to hem it. So I'm going to mark, so you can see what I'm doing: 5.5, 3 inches. And then this slopes into the shoulder part. So the next thing I'm going to measure, from this point, I'm going to mark my bust point, which is 10. So I'm actually drafting on the right side of my satin. I'm supposed to turn it. So I have 10 inches here. So I'm just using this as guide. Okay, it is a crop top, so this is 10 inches. I'll use it as guide when I want to when I want to shape my dress. So the next thing, from this point, I'm going to take how tight I want my sleeve to be. Okay, so for my sleeve, if you are using a stretchy fabric, you can make it as tight as you want. So since my own is not very tight, I'm going to use 10 inches like this. Okay, so that 10 inches now, you divide it into 2. So I have about 5 inches here. So I'm going to mark my 5 inches like this. So from this point now, I'm going to use my pattern curve So I'm just trying to give it a shape first. Okay, so you can see what we have. So you can see it's even looking like that, the shape of that sleeve there. The next thing now, you are going to shape your dress. Depends on how tight you want this to be. If you are using a stretchy fabric, you can reduce your measurement even by 1 inch, or use your exact measurement because it stretches. Okay, so my bust measurement. So for my bust, I'm using 36. When you divide 36 into 4, I have 9 inches. So I'm just going to add 1 inch or half of an inch for my allowance. It's going to, I'm marking it like this. And then my waist part. So what I have here, I'm just going to repeat it for my waist measurement. Okay, so I'll mark this like this. So I hope you can see. I'll mark this like this, and then from this point, I'm going to, as I'm coming down, I'm not going to carry that slimness that I have here around this armhole area. I'm going to open it up a little bit. Just see what I'm doing. See the way I'm shaping it. You understand? So you don't need to just carry that straight and come like this. No, it's not going to work. So you just need to open up a little bit around the armhole area, around the armpit area. So you see, you have about 11 there. Just open it up and then float it into the slim part of your sleeve. So you can see how simple this is. So and then on this part, since we are using the same size, so it's just, we're just going to curve this out like this. So you see how simple this is. So the next thing now, we're going to cut this out. So it depends on how open you want this armpit side to be. But make sure towards the tips it is slim on that side. So you can see how it is looking. And then we're going to cut out our neckline. So like I said, if you are using a stretchy fabric, you are done already with your dress. Just go and couple everything together. But my own fabric is not a stretchy fabric, so I'm just doing this for the sake of this tutorial. So that is why I'm using a fabric that is not stretchy. I think someone actually sent this to me a long time ago. Okay, so I'm going to open this up now. Let's see what we have. So you can see what we have that is looking like that dress there. So I'm going to go to my machine now, and then I'm going to stitch this here like this, and then stitch this. So with this, with the wideness of this neckline itself, you don't need to add this. I don't need to open the back of my own dress again. See, it is wide enough so it can pass through. So I'm just going to stitch here and then stitch here like this, and then fold the arm, fold this part, fold this part. So if you are a beginner, please try this out. This is a really beginner friendly video. And then fold the hem, and then I'll just finish that and then come back and show you. For the neckline, I'm not going to be using a facing. I'm just going to use a bias binding to do my neckline. So I'm going to show you how to use bias on the neckline now for beginners. Okay, so I'm going to open this up right now so you can see what we have. So you can see it is a simple process. So the next thing now, I'm going to cut my facing for the neckline. So cutting the facing is a really simple process. So I'll fold the neckline like this, and then I'm going to place it here. So, so I'm just going to check to make sure, just see, I have about 10-11 inches, which is okay for a facing. Okay, so in sewing a facing is a simple process. I'm just going to take this now to my machine. Most times I don't like cutting open the neckline. It's easier that way. And then I'll place this here like this, and then I would stitch and then turn it inside and iron it. So that's that. And then this part, I will just trim it however I want to trim it, or I can decide to just leave it like this so it relaxes properly. So the neckline is wide enough. So for this, if you are using that neckline of 5.5, You don't need to add any cut or zip to your neckline. You can see it is wide enough. So the next thing now, I'll take this back to my machine now, and then we are going to go and stitch it. It's a simple process. I'll stitch it here and then stitch here and then turn out, just fold this part after my facing. So I'll show you how to sew the facing. It's a simple process. So let's go back to the machine. So I'll trim after stitching. I'm just going to trim it out like this. Okay, so trim it out, and then I'll take out my pins, and then I'll flip it like this now on the inside of my neckline, so you can see how it is inside. The next thing is just for me to take it back to my machine. Sorry, I said machine, to my ironing table, and then give it a very good iron. So you can see how the facing is looking inside. You can decide to leave it like this. You can decide to reduce the width of your facing. It just depends on what you want. And then you can see the front part. So you can see I've not even ironed it yet. And yet then you can see how it is looking good and okay. So you can see the neckline well finished on the outside. So guys, that's how you do that. So I'll finish this up now, and then I'll do the second one and then join the shoulder just like I explained earlier. Okay guys, so at the end of the day, you can see how our cut together pencil sleeve looks like. You can see it actually came out really fine. So like I said, you actually don't need any zipper at the back. So thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button, and if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in my next video.